Hey, what's up, it's Darian. I wanted to share a few reasons why I would encourage you to get started with therapy. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I thought what better time than now to share some tips on not only how to get started, but set some goals and intentions around your therapeutic process. I want to help destigmatize mental health and encourage the importance of behavioral health. I would encourage you to not only commit, but do some research, set some goals, set some intentions for your therapeutic process so you can have the best possible outcome. All right, so here are a few tips. All right, so number one, maladaptive schemas. Being able to identify, heal, reshape, and develop coping skills around maladaptive schemas is vital to your mental health. All right, so I would encourage you to do some research. Look at the list of maladaptive schemas. See if you can find any that you identify with and write them down. Start, a log of a few that you say, hey, I think this might be, this might be one. This might be one or two, write them down. If you are recommitting to therapy or you're just getting started, going into therapy, listen, I wish I went into therapy with knowing what my maladaptive schemas were so that I could have a clear, well thought out treatment plan. My treatment plan that I started with it was what it was. Like, I got started, okay? But knowing what I know now, if I had more insight, I would have prepared as intentionally as I possibly can and saying, hey, I've been able to identify some maladaptive schemas. These are things that I want to work on and grow. These are areas I want to grow and, develop within myself and my mindset, my consciousness. So I would encourage you to identify your maladaptive schemas and get started with those. It's an amazing place to start in therapy, okay? As a caveat, if there are other matters that are time sensitive or much more pressing, I understand that. I'm sensitive to that as well. If you are in a situation that may be unsafe or you're processing, grief or a trauma that you need help, carrying, I would encourage you to prioritize that. But maladaptive schemas, if you haven't yet processed through your maladaptive schemas and you don't really know where to start, I would encourage you to that. Next, I would say mind mapping. Cognitive behavioral therapy is amazing for mind mapping. Being able to talk through and process what you're thinking about, giving your thoughts intellect, reframing and reshaping and understanding the root cause, the consciousness behind your thoughts, what is shaping your thoughts, which again may hinge on your maladaptive schemas or what Don Miguel Ruiz writes on in The Mastery of Self as domestications, right? They may be inherited thought patterns and processes. So identifying limiting beliefs and just being able to connect how you think about what you think about and why. And mapping that out is amazing. Giving your thoughts intellect is something I would encourage anyone to do. Think about what you think about. Okay, next would be obtaining new coping mechanisms or developing new coping skills. I like to use the terminology as my wellness toolkit. I have a lot of tools in my wellness toolkit, and coping skills I think is necessary. If we don't have healthy coping skills, we have coping skills that are not healthy that may take days, years, and time off of our lives and our bodies, and they can be destructive and harmful not only to ourselves but to our loved ones. So, if we are coping in ways that are, either addictive behaviors or destructive patterns that we are in denial about or unaware of or just not willing to fully address, if we're avoiding the unhealthy coping techniques, it can be very harmful, not only short term but long term. So, there's just so many good, healthy coping skills, like so many good, healthy coping techniques that are simple, that are effective, that can be cost friendly and free, and can replace addictive behaviors. Sometimes people turn to drugs and alcohol to cope, to numb, to avoid, or to escape. But when you take the time to sit with the pain, to process and make sense of what it is that you might be escaping from, and you replace it with healthier coping skills and coping techniques, you not only add years to your life, but you can help free someone else, right? Like, you can help free someone if they are not able to function without smoking weed every day. If you're not able to function without smoking weed every day, Mary Jane, marijuana, You know, if you can't function without it, that's a sign. It should alert you, right? Because we weren't born into the world smoking weed. I pray. I pray you weren't born into the world smoking weed every day. And so, going back to our original creation, how God intended us to be on this earth, to be effective. The Bible tells us to be sober-minded for a reason.